You're listening to an episode of Mr. Alley's Neighborhood. This is the place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, I don't know about my opinion today because I am honored to have as guests two Burleson icons, Patsy Dumas and Pat Worrell. I don't need to even introduce these two ladies to the Burleson audience because they've been extremely important parts of our community for as long as I've lived here. I've been here since 88 as a teacher and 1991 as a resident. So I've been here since 32 years, and even then I knew these ladies' names pretty quickly. So I'm really honored to have you all, ladies. Hope you all enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and Gabrina is here also. She'll probably be doing most of the talking, which is fine with me because Gabrina's got lots going on, and she's a natural. She should have her own podcast.
Oh, please. We could probably manage that.
Yeah, well.
In my spare time.
Yeah. Oh, you got lots of it. Yeah.
I do. I have a lot of spare
You just wake up and say, what am I going to do today?
Yeah. Who can I make happy today?
Well, that's a good attitude.
It is, yeah.
I need to try that sometime. But we're going to talk about what they've been doing for the community and have for, gosh, like I said, well over 3 decades that I know of. And it's a great thing. I had several people that commented when I was telling people, on Facebook about who's coming in. I had a lot of comments like, "Oh, I just love those ladies. It's going to be great." And all this. And my wife I told her this morning. She was very excited because she knows both of y'all, and it's a great thing. But before we just run in there, I'm going to run through the sponsors real quick so we can get to the important stuff, so to speak. Okay, so thank you, Daniel, across at Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire, over behind Stone Soup Cafe and Valley Cleaners and all that. I bet y'all know those pretty well. Mm-hmm. Also, thank you to Shandy Stogsdill, the Stogsdill Group with the Realty. I'll have her on, I believe, what is today? I think in about 2 weeks. We know that she's running for place 4 in the school board, but here we were talking about her in her real estate capacity because she is probably one of the brightest young women I know about real estate. And I'm sure y'all both keep up with that because as a board member, as a community leader, y'all seen a lot of changes, right?
Absolutely. Oh, constantly.
Yeah, and it's kind of keeping us busy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Also, thank you to our place. I bet y'all been there before.
Oh, yes.
And Otto he's suffering so much for his job. Last week he had to go to a pizza convention, it turns out, in Las Vegas. Yeah, I read that in the paper, the Washington Post, that these people take their pizza pretty seriously. And so, I'm probably there at least once a week. That's where I do a lot of my podcasting group, also my networking group. I'm with BNI, and we do a lot of networking stuff over there. So thank you to Otto at our place. Also, Wild Cigar over on the Standard. I don't know how often y'all be there, unless y'all smoke cigars, but it's got a really nice humidor. I'm sure somebody in your life will like it. Your son? Mm-hmm. He likes cigars, so it's a good place to get them because they have a really nice staff as well. It isn't just like, here, go get you one. They'll help get you one that fits what you're looking for. They get trained people for that, so it's a good place. And he also is, as his business is getting more established, he's getting more involved in the community. So,
good. That's
great.
So
he's a member of the chamber, isn't he?
Yes, we had his ribbon cutting the other day.
That's right.
It was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
And I tried to make that, and I got there just as y'all were driving off.
Yeah.
Because it was during one of my shows, but that's all right. All right.
You can get a membership, and it's a really cool place.
It is.
Cool ambiance and everything. Yeah,
I had no idea they did that.
Yeah.
Class act, I'm sure.
It
very
is.
classy.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yes,
not.
it's very
They got a meeting room. So like conferences there, maybe. If you have like a business or something, you can have like a little afternoon meeting in there, and then enjoy something afterwards. All right. Also, we have Tiffany Nico at Local Life, and she's asked me to let y'all know, besides the fact that you should have your issue for April by now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You already got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then it covers some of the candidates, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the one I saw too. But she also has a lot of information about what's coming up in the community and whatnot. Yes. She'll be on in a week from tomorrow, next Tuesday. And she always got tons of what's going on. But she also is pushing summer advertising. So contact her if you want to advertise for the summer issues. She works out some sort of arrangement, and you can find out what the expense is. It's well worth it though, because everybody gets it, and a lot of businesses have it on their counter. I know Otto does. I think Chris does, if I remember right. Has some extra issues. So thank you, Tiffany. Like I said, we'll have you on next week. Also, y'all know this place, Southern Gym.
yes.
Yeah, with the Gail Moores.
So sweet.
Yeah, and my wife says you're a customer.
I am. I can't wait for them to move. And I've mentioned to Gayla that I'd like to help her some, maybe be at the door or if she needs someone. And we've talked about that.
Well, I hope so. I mean, if you find out you're there, people will come, and that's no joke.
I'm a jewelry girl.
Well, so is my wife, and she just says, and my wife's like, "Oh, she's so sweet." And okay, well, and Pat, if you haven't been there, it's a good place to drop by. What I liked about Gayla's new place is she has a bullpen to park the husbands when the ladies come in to shop. They can, guys are like, "Come on, TikTok." Oh, there's a ball game over there, and so they'll just go sit over there and have a Dr. Pepper or something. So,
And she has a statue of Queen Elizabeth.
oh, she's big into that.
Yes, and I say hi, Queen Elizabeth, because my name's Elizabeth too.
Really?
Oh,
She also was big into Kentucky Derby and horse racing, and so she's trying to get to the downstairs part in time to have like a Kentucky Derby day with the hats and the mint juleps and all that.
you would fit right
You like
in.
hats?
Yeah, let's go.
You're ready to go. Yeah, you are known for your hats.
I get teased a lot about it's not the Derby yet.
No. You were ahead of your time, style wise.
Well, thank you.
Also, we have Melissa Harmon, Texas Farm Bureau. She's my insurance agent, 682-804-0534. She asked me to ask y'all to look at your house insurance because we're getting into tornado season, and you want to make sure that you have enough house insurance. She did mine, and she got my coverage bumped up and a little discount to boot, so I'm very appreciative. Her office is off of Summercrest behind Captain D's, but she does a lot of stuff out, on the road. She's always driving around. So thank you, Melissa, for what you do at Texas Farm Bureau. Also, we have a couple of new sponsors. A little short-term sponsorship from a couple of my BNI friends. First Do Detailing. He has a video, but we're going to watch that tomorrow. First Do Detailing. He'll come to your place, detail your car, power wash or whatever. I saw him last week, and he showed me his outfit, his rig, and so you want to get your car washed. Not that Burleson lacks for car washes. Yeah, but you don't want to sometimes sit through the line. If he come to your place of work or your house, come wash your car really nice, detail it. If you want to do that, and you don't have to go anywhere. So it's a really good thing to have. So thank you, Caleb. His name is Caleb Patino, and he's a very fine young man. And First Do Detailing will come to your place and clean up your car. Also, we have another BNI friend, Dee Dee Simpson, who's been on my show before. The Thrive group is what I use to get my word out, so to speak, my show out to the public. She's hooked me up with the various platforms for the Facebook, not just Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that, but with Apple, Spotify, all these others. I got like 40, and I don't even know half of them, but I get a report once a month that said, oh, somebody at this station. And a couple of them are foreign, and I don't know what this guy in Australia is looking for, but welcome aboard,
Yeah.
And there's a more to it a lot more to it than that. She'll be on the show in a couple of weeks, but it's also like billing and keeping track of appointments and all that. Any nonprofits going on, Taylor? Yes, Harvest House, Vineyard Vibes. It's going to be April 23rd. This is for Harvest House. Jennifer was on the show last week, and she told us about it. Vineyard Vibes. Check out their webpage so you can get the QR code, or I guess you can put it next to the screen, and you get tickets there. It's going to be $15 if you do it ahead of time, $20 if you wait to the door. And you can donate a glass of wine, and they're going to have several singers and artists. One of them, an old BNI friend, Kyle Sherman, who's, I don't know, he's as well known here as some of the others will be there, but he is a good singer. So there you are. So it's over at Lost Oak Winery starting around noontime on April 23rd. Also, I believe, it is the barbecue cook-off for Re-Inspire. I don't know if y'all know this. This is more of a Cleveland group, but Shandy is the president of their board, and what Re-Inspire does is it helps kids that are aging out of the foster care system.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just heard of them.
Yeah, and they've been on the show a couple of times. They just bought a location off of Henderson in Cleveland.
Oh, good.
And they're they help these kids with managing a checkbook,
They're lost.
insurance. Yeah, well they may have been taken care of well or not, but they still it's hard to go to be an adult when you don't know these things.
Yeah. But I think the fact that we know is that they don't realize when they're 18 they're no longer eligible for to be in that foster home.
And so they have a facility there, and they teaches them computer
I
skills.
know, I'm so glad.
Yeah, how to do a resume, how to do an interview, culinary skills, things of that nature. You know,
I know
how,
some adults that need to go to that.
Yeah.
We can always learn, can't we?
Yes. You're never too old to learn.
but now I'm going to turn it over to Gabrina because she has some things going on, and then I'll probably let her do most of the talking because you've obviously been friends with these ladies for quite some time and have a lot to talk about. So
Yes.
Since we met.
Cynthia, that's right. That's right. Well, first of all, I want to say I think my mom is listening and watching, so I want to say hi to my mom. She's all the way in Lubbock, Texas.
good.
So,
Well, see,
yes.
the broad
Yes.
expanse.
Gabrina's mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom.
So the chamber has a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've got our gala coming up April the 14th, and we're super excited about that. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is our Pony Express race, and we're going to have people that are going to be riding the stick horses. In fact, I picked up the stick horses Saturday from Adams Tack, and then we're going to have one person on the other end rolling the dice, and it's just going to be fun, interactive, and just a good time. We're going to give away the Athena Award for 2022. We're going to announce the Citizen of the Year Award winner, and also the Marzi Barty Chamber Volunteer of the Year Award.
Do you have a logo or something that's in Taylor?
I do. I can send that. Okay.
You throw it up later in the show because he's a wizard over there at the computer.
Okay.
Oh, wizard.
A wizard.
So that's April 14th. So the two things I'm really working on right now is the April 14th gala and then our Honey Tour bike ride in May. So as of this morning, I think we've had about 140 that have registered already, which we're ahead of the game because last year at this time, in 2018 at this time, we had 43 that were registered.
Wow.
And we had almost 1,500 that rode that year. And then in 2019, we had 117 that were registered, and we had approximately 1,500 that rode that year too. So I think we're going to be ahead of the game on this one, and I think we're going to
Over 2,000.
hopefully, I'm hoping that we get over 2,000, but.
That's
great. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that it's coming back in 3 years, and I think there's a lot of people that are really excited about it. I don't know how a lot of them got my cell phone number, but they were texting me saying, "Hey, is the Honey Tour bike ride coming back?" And I'm responding,
Bobby gave it to
yes, Bobby did. Yes, it is. So there's a lot of people that's excited about it, including myself. And it takes over 200 volunteers to put that thing together. And the thing that I'm most proud of is not just the Honey Tour bike ride, but the fact that we have also partnered with the city of Burleson. They're bringing in a carnival. They're going to kick off Hot Sounds of Summer that evening on Friday. So we're trying to work together and make Burleson a place to play and stay for Memorial Weekend. I mean, you can stay at Jellystone Park. You can stay at, some of the other hotels here in Burleson. And I mean, we're just going to have lots of fun. So I'm super excited about that. So if you don't have anything to do Memorial Weekend, come out, be a cheerleader, come volunteer. HEB is our title sponsor. They're going to be giving away chicken sandwiches at the end to all the bike riders.
How about just the fans?
Exactly. Exactly. And then, so it's going to be fun. And then, for those that have not gone to or have not attended our Business Over Breakfast yet, oh my goodness. We're averaging about 55 to 60 people per event. And we just finished our second one. So our third one will be in April. And it is so much fun. And it's just, Derek has done a really good job. Derek Rose, he's one of our diplomats. He's done a really good job in kind of planning and organizing this. The little golden nugget that you get to take away is he does a little 5 to 10 minute session on mental health. And so that's really good. Wonderful. And then everybody has the opportunity to give a little 30-second elevator pitch. And then we've partnered with BISD and their culinary arts department. They serve breakfast for us every morning. And the first one was, oh my goodness, we had some amazing waffles with whipped cream and strawberries. And then we had scrambled eggs and bacon. And then this last one we had biscuits with gravy and eggs and sausage and fruit. And so it is delicious.
They do a good job, don't they?
They do an amazing job. And not a lot of people know that if you're a business owner, you can actually contract with them, and have them cater your food too.
Cater out. out at the.
Really proud of that program.
That's interesting. Well,
Yes.
And see, you're sitting right next to a longtime board member, and she oversaw a lot of that. I'm sure, you and I are old veterans of BISD, Pat, and I remember when we started, we got the job done, but now we offer so much more.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing what we have now available.
When you're partly a lot credit for that, you and the board and you and the administration that has foresaw all this. My favorite thing is that early college program.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
That is amazing.
and I teach in that building at night. I have a Tuesday night class for Hill, and I'm 2 doors down from where I originally started high school, but it is nothing like what I remember.
Oh, no, that building is.
I bet you remember the red lockers.
Yes.
They're gone.
They're all gone.
Yes.
Yes.
And just the carpet that was like all these stains. Oh, I spilled my coffee. Well, no big deal. Much as everything else. Or and there's more country boys back in the day. They'd sit in the back of the room with their spit cup, and if they missed it, just rub it in there in the carpet. No.
Oh, the good old days.
The good old days.
And their truck had a rifle.
That's
in the
right.
back.
I miss some of those older days, but y'all have been part of it forever.
My son was in that area at the time, and what he says to me, Mom, we never thought of shooting anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a rifle on the parking lot,
No, we had bullet casings in the floor because they went hunting that previous weekend, and it's like,
Yeah.
who doesn't practically?
Yeah.
I knew not to give certain assignments or long-term stuff around early October because that's deer hunting season. And,
Right. Pick your battles, right?
I want to let Gabrina ask you some stuff about y'all's background.
Yes. Well, I am super excited. I know, I was trying to figure out who could I have on the show because we like to focus a lot on members and, really highlighting our members and stuff. And that's one of the benefits of being a chamber member. But, I wanted to do something a little different. I mean, I want to, you ladies are both really great pillars in the community. And so you've done so much for the community. And I know, I moved here in 2011. I think it was 2011. And I started working with the railroaders, in 2017. And that's when I met Patsy. And she just kind of took me under her wing. And she was just, she is part of the reason that I have the job that I do now, because she just basically pulled me aside and said, if you want that job, you better go in there and you better tell them you want it. And so she's just like, I said, yes, ma'am. Because you do not tell Patsy Dumas no.
That's
You
exactly
just
right.
don't,
That is the truth.
So
That's true.
it is. I mean, who does? Nobody does. So when she told me you go in there and do it, the only thing you can say is, yes, ma'am, I sure will. And so, and then Pat, I mean, coming in and you were just so amazing and so sweet and just, I just feel like y'all both have just taken me under your wing and just have kind of just helped to nurture me and kind of get me involved in the community, which is what I want to talk to you about, because Patsy, you retired this year or last year. And so what are you going to do in your retirement? Tell me a little bit about like what your plans are, because you volunteer for everything, but how do you relax? How do you enjoy your time? Do you have you time?
Yes. I love being home. I love my home. And I love being there. And I'm usually busy. Yesterday, I finally put up all of the things that I brought home from my office when I left. And that was a lot because I'd been in that office for 23 years. Wow. They teased me all the time that they would need to call a pod to be delivered. But I don't know how many of my friends took load after load to my house. So that's a project finished. And I really have not changed what I did for 23 years, except I don't go to work. And I don't have to get up at 5:30, 6:30, something like that. Usually I get up 6:30, 7, and get ready to go to a meeting, just like today. So when I finish here, I have a 3:30 meeting, and then I have a 5 o'clock meeting, an Athena meeting this afternoon. Most days, sometime during the day, I'm going, okay, now I'm going to the right place. And I have 3 calendars, one in the kitchen, one in my dressing area, and one on my desk. And one of those calendars will tell me where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to do that day if I can just remember it. But I'm really loving retirement. People ask me all the time, do you like it? Are you sorry? Would you change it? No, I love it. I wouldn't change it. I planned it for a year and thought about it a long time before that. And when I did make my decision and tell the bank, well, it flew by, but it finally got there, and the community was absolutely outstanding to me about my retirement. Receptions and parties, and so thank everyone for the way my retirement went. I don't know if it was so glad they were getting rid of me or that I would have more time to do a little more community work, because that's what I love. If you know me, you know I love our community.
Absolutely. It shows in your actions.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So, Pat, and okay, so what about you? What do you do in your spare time? Because I know you're pretty busy too, because I see you at a lot of meetings.
Well, I really don't have much spare time, and I'm
You're like
thankful
me.
for it. I'll be honest with you, I don't like my own company. Okay, I really don't. I like people, and recently I had a thought. I don't know that this is particularly scriptural, but as a Christian, I'm going to share it.
Perfect.
Because I thought, when I get to heaven, I can talk all I want to talk, and I'll never run out of time meeting people. And to me, that is heaven. I mean, I just love to. You can never have too many friends,
Right.
And I just love being out and being involved in multiple things. I'm very involved in First Baptist Church. I'm active, help Don Newberry and the other people on the group to plan outings for the prime timers, and we try to have a variety of things that we do. Overnight trip is coming up. We're going to Paladura Canyon to see Texas in June for a couple of nights, and staying at in Jimmy Dean, the dorm named for Jimmy Dean at Wayland University out there at Plainview. And so we've got those things going. I've been in the Umathian Club, which is the oldest philanthropic club in Burleson, well over 100 years old. Its history is rather interesting, because the ladies that started that thought that Burleson didn't have enough culture, so they brought it to them, and they studied opera and read books. We are not quite that lofty. We do more visiting with one another and getting people to come in and share with us and educate us. So that's fun. Mary Slaney and I think another couple of ladies started, I think 15 years ago on Valentine's, started the Circle of Friends. And I had been invited to join that group, and I thought, I really don't have time to do that. But then, as I know I'm going to be not doing some things, I thought, I've got to have my calendar full. So I joined that group, and I'm enjoying going. I have a book club that's associated with that I'm enjoying reading books. It pushes my boundaries. I like to read a lot, but I tend to read what I want to read, and that gets me to read some things that I learn some things.
Yeah.
And you always learn. I'm very active in retired teachers. And in fact, I have a board meeting for them this afternoon at 1:00, and working with them. And by the way, our meeting, if anybody wants to come, you're invited next Monday at 1:00 at First Baptist Church in the atrium. Susan Crummell, our former superintendent, Richard Crummel's wife, who is a well-known, worldwide known children's author. She and her sister does the illustrations. She does the books. And she's going to be our speaker that day. And she's bringing some of her books that we can get autographed. So those are treasures. She's awesome.
What time is that?
At 1:00. 1:00 at First Baptist. So you're certainly welcome, retired teacher or not. But if you are a retired teacher, you need to be there. Those are a lot of things. I have my son and his family moved back to Burleson from Waxahachie. Never thought I'd have grandkids in Burleson, but I've got 2 grandchildren at Kerr Middle School, and I just thoroughly enjoy having them and getting to go to their things. And I'm going to put a brag out on Kerr's band. My grandson plays the saxophone in the honors band. And they competed in Granbury last Thursday and came away with the best they could do in all areas. They were wonderful. What really amazed me was the sight reading. They had the teacher, conductress, had 15 minutes to prepare the children for a performance of the music they'd never seen before. And I was thoroughly I really enjoyed that. I had on my grandma hat and my school board hat and my educator hat on, and I just really enjoyed that. So those are some of the things that I do. And I have another daughter, I have a daughter in Austin, but she has my grandson is in Dallas, going to the University of Texas at Dallas. So I'm blessed.
You are. Both of you are. Yeah, and we're blessed to have you. And I know you, so we just got done with the character council luncheon.
Oh, yes.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I thought you wouldn't ask. No, well, Patsy and I were, what year was that, Patsy?
We had our 22nd luncheon.
Well, that's true. So we just have to go back for our 22nd luncheon. We didn't get to have one for a couple of years during the pandemic,
Right.
but
And we really didn't start those for a while, so I'd say 25 years.
yes, I think it would be 25. Byron Black was mayor of Burleson, and he and F.A. Shedd brought that program to Burleson. Patsy, jump in here and help me with this. Brought it to Burleson, and Gloria Gillespie and Byron and Patsy and I are still active on the Character Council.
You're the founding members.
We are the founding members of that. And I told Dr. Jimerson when he first came, and I had my first one-on-one with him, I said, one of the things that I feel very strongly about is the Character Council, and I want to make sure that keeps going. And he has been most supportive from the very beginning. And I'll give my little 30-second spill on this. I think it's awesome that we can recognize our academically gifted children, our arts, our creative arts, and drama, music, all those things. But if we educate children and we are remiss in showing them and teaching them good character, we have missed the boat. We really make an effort to find those children and to celebrate them with their families. In fact, I wish that I'd known this when we started our luncheon last week. We had a family there that had 2 children on 2 different campuses that were both recognized for character last week. And those are the kind of families that we want to celebrate and enjoy and encourage. And so it's an awesome thing. We have the 4 entities work together: the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Burleson, the Ministerial Alliance, and the school district. And we continue to work hard to make that happen for our students. So, and it was awesome. It's been good every year, but we've got it down to an art. And I really appreciate the way we're identifying our children now, because we can identify so many more than we were before. And we had 315
registered for the food,
Yes.
service. It was wonderful.
It was.
It makes our hearts swell up.
Oh, it
really does. That's the way I describe it.
Absolutely. It's awesome. And Pathway has been so gracious to let us have our luncheons there, and just open arms, and it's just really an awesome thing.
And they're chosen on integrity.
Oh dear, there are 4 of them, and I'm good at 3 out of 4.
Attitude,
Kindness is one.
Kindness,
I don't remember the 4th
And,
one. We had
integrity.
yeah.
Did you say that one? Integrity,
And-
kindness, courtesy.
Courtesy was the other one.
and
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah, and attitude. And because, you guys put those placemats there with that information.
Yes,
So what I did was, because, Cash goes to Burleson now, I took my placemat and I wrote on the back of it, this is what you're. So he and I had this discussion while we were getting our truck washed, going through the car wash. He and I had this discussion about, this is what you do, and these things fall under, integrity. And he's like, Mom, what does integrity mean? So I explained it to him, and then attitude, and helping others and being a good leader. So I'm trying to kind of guide him in the right direction.
The same vocabulary.
Exactly,
That's so important,
exactly.
especially with younger children, to use the same words,
Right.
so they know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yes,
And so, it was
absolutely.
what you guys did was, it's a phenomenal program. It really is,
thank you.
And then Patsy, you and I sit on the board of directors for the Burleson Police Foundation.
Yes.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, that's one of my loves too. All my boards that I serve, I really love my co-op board and Athena and
And you were a founding member too of the Burleson Police. So
Yes.
you're a founding member of this one and also the Burleson Police Foundation.
Well, the Police Foundation, yes, that just kind of happened and evolved, and we just have stuck with it and kept it going. And I said in our meeting last time, I said the four of us have kept our arms around this and made sure it stayed together all these years. But back to the Police Foundation. Yes, when Chief Cowan came here from Fort Worth, and he's such a great man and leader and chief, and I admire him so much. He was so attuned to the fact that one of his visions was to have the Police Foundation formed. And what the foundation does, there's three things. We raise money for the awards banquet and for the training that the city doesn't provide money for, maybe can't because it isn't budgeted. And then education. And education and that training go together so much. We have a meeting in the morning. We meet every first Tuesday at 8 o'clock at the police department. But what he did when he came to Burleson, he asked someone from the city what people to visit, who to visit, and they knew. And so when he came to my office, I think it was pretty evident. I had a paperweight on the corner of my desk that I had been given by the police department for helping raise money for bikes or something. And of course, his eyes hit that the minute he shook my hand. And he knew where my heart was when it comes to the police officers. And I've always loved them. I wish I could just remember every name, but I can't. But even now, I love and understand them more. But he chose, at that point, 5 men and me to form the regional board. And we've been able to, some people have gone from there and had other things to do, and we've added people in those places and even added a couple of seats. And one is Gabrina. We were so glad to bring Gabrina onto the board. A lot of people in town admire that board and would love to serve on it. So I'm sitting in my seat very tightly because I love the board. I love working with the chief and our board. It is so wonderful because we go around that table when they present from the agenda, the things they need, the things they want us to do, the help they need, and all kinds of ideas come out. But never anyone disagrees. Somehow, oh, yes, that's a better idea. Yes, let's do that. What about this and that? I mean, it's the most congenial board that you could ever imagine. And the chief is really proud. And we've had visitors, people come to the city to gauge the city. I guess that might not be the best word, but to evaluate our city, our police department in different areas in the city. And they met with us the first year that they came after our board was formed. And they went away shaking their head because the chief left and left us with those people. They couldn't believe the money that we've raised and the things that we've been able to do. And the way the community has put their arms around our police department. And not just because of our board, of course, because we have a wonderful, great, huge... Those guys and ladies, I'm telling you, every time I see them on the street, stop in a car, I just say, Lord, please protect them in this day and time. But those people were very impressed, and I think I would be safe to say there's other boards formed because of ours throughout the nation.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it sounds like y'all spend a lot of time fundraising.
We do. And the boards... I tell people they want me because I can raise money.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can, Patsy. You're well known for that. We know.
Yeah, you can't say no.
Yeah, some people, when they see me coming, they want to walk away. But, I'm always nice about it, and I never press anyone. I just say, this is an opportunity.
Well, one of the advantages I have here at this podcast is I do a lot of nonprofit shows, and I'm just amazed how many of these nonprofits, Next Step, and like we mentioned, Re-Inspire, the Center for ASD, Harvest House, certainly, Promises Community, which Pat and I know of. We just like, wow, we have a lot of people that put a lot of time into this community for pretty altruistic reasons. I mean, and y'all certainly fit into that. Pat, how long have you served on the school board?
This is my 15th year.
Well, that's a definite sacrifice of time and effort, I'm sure. When we were all going through the COVID era, y'all really had to scramble, and I thought y'all did a really, really good job considering the difficulty and unknown circumstances y'all were dealing with. And I guess it's just part of it.
The ideas they were able to come up with, I could not believe.
Well, and it was
improvised.
It was one of those phenomenal, which not a good thing, times when there was nobody to call and say, what are you doing? Because nobody knew what to do. So, and I'll tell you, we have an awesome administrative team for the school district. Yes. We have strength. We have so many good people that are just all in, and they're very, very creative. When I was a principal, I used to tell my teachers, collectively, we're brilliant. And maybe not individually, but when we put our heads together, and that's why the character
She tells
council,
me that too.
It's just working together and learning, bouncing ideas off, brainstorming. It's powerful in any situation. It's powerful, and when you respect the people you're working with, that's why. You do, Gabrina, that's why you do what Patsy tells you to do.
Exactly.
Because you trust her. She has integrity, and you know that. And so you want to be a part of something that those kinds of leaders are there. But I have just thoroughly enjoyed my time on the school board, working and seeing all the things that we've been able to accomplish. And seeing our city grow, because when I came to Burleson in 1968, I remember staff development days in particular, because at staff development, when they let us out to go for lunch someplace, there was nowhere to go but Dairy Queen and Dairy Twin. Basically Pizza Hut, I think, might have been around then. We had to go to Fort Worth. And now you don't have to leave Burleson for anything unless you choose to, if you can get out of the traffic. But anyway, but it's a wonderful place to be. And, we have we're never going to get there, but we're working toward making ourselves better and better and offering all these things. That's Brad. That's one of the reasons I said earlier that I enjoy listening to your program.
Oh, thank you.
When you have the different people from the school district come, and even as a board member, I listen, and periodically there's something comes up, and I didn't even know we did that. One of the things that I really enjoy at our board meetings is they bring students in that are that have earned honors for different things: academics, athletics, music, just character, just spelling bees, just, the whole thing. And to get to see those children and the families and encourage them and celebrate their children. I know as a teacher for years, if you either feed them or put their children on the stage, people come, and if you do both of them, you've got quite a crowd. But
with parents.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, one of the things Pat said made me think I need to be sure. There's two things that I want to say. One is my husband and toddler moved here, and I, in 1957, December of 57, the day before Christmas Eve, if you can think.
Wow.
But that was our first house, and they didn't think we'd be approved for weeks and weeks, and we were approved in just a few days. And so, of course, we moved. We couldn't wait to get to our new house. But there were less than 1,000 people.
Oh.
If you can imagine. Wow. And if you know how the drive-in is built at First National Bank, it's up high and it's kind of panoramic when you go out there. And I would always go out on my day to close, and almost every day to the girls that I was working with in closing, I would say, I can't help but say this again, I saw all of this built, and I still can't believe it. And there's another thing.
Go ahead, Patsy. I'm sorry.
One more thing I want to say about our school district. I can't say enough about Brett, Dr. J.
Yes.
I started calling him Dr. J almost the night I met him. There was an open house, and they came, and little Davis was just a baby in arms.
Absolutely.
And he's
Yes,
10
he
years
was.
old now.
Yes.
But honestly, by the time I got to know Dr. J and Paige, I started telling both of them, all of your children want to graduate from Burleson High School. That meant
there you go.
a long time,
Absolutely.
18 years at least.
Yes, absolutely.
So those are two things that I really like to carry around on my heart.
Yes.
Well, I was noticing the same thing. I've been here, like I said, since 91 for 32 years, and it amazes me.
It does.
And, and I know for some people are maybe a little nostalgic for the old days, and I get that, but so much more.
yeah.
And then we talked earlier about the schools. I mean,
Yes.
you talked about the programs. I didn't know some of these programs.
Right. Yes.
And, I have Coach Geller and Coach Newton on in about 2 weeks. And we're not going to be talking strictly athletics. We're going to talk about the entire picture of what they do
Yes.
at their school.
Oh, Coach
Yes.
Kyle, I call him Coach Kyle. He's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just saying
And
it's.
he's the only one that has been there. And I haven't met the new coach yet.
Well, let me say, speaking of new coaches, there is no connection between Chad Worrell, who's the new the new head coach at Burleson High School, and me. If there is, it's way back somewhere because we have talked. There's no connection.
I never even noticed that. Tell you the truth.
You did well.
No,
all right.
I didn't,
Good deal.
Didn't connect
Good
like
deal.
that. Yeah.
Had a little interesting conversation with him the night that we voted on him at the boardroom because when I first married my husband in 2002. The name Worrell, I met him in Crowley, and so people in Crowley knew him because he had an insurance agency here for years and years. And so we met a new couple. I don't remember the whole thing, but anyway, they were trying to remember if it was Worrell or Worrell, and I said it rhymes with squirrel, And so we got to the car. My husband said, I don't really like that you say it rhymes with squirrel. And I thought to myself, well, I just won't say it in front of him, So it wasn't 2 weeks until we met another couple. And lo and behold, if he didn't say, it rhymes with squirrel, I didn't say anything, but I laughed. But when I met Chad Worrell, I shared that with him, and he said he used to teach elementary PE, and that's the word that he used to tell his children. It rhymes with squirrel, So we kind of shared that thing, but there's not a connection. But there's something that I forgot to mention that I'm very involved in, and that's Russell Farms.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Russell Farms. I'm a docent in the house. I've got that memorized, and I can take you through the house. But I was supposed to volunteer Saturday, and I got a message from Mary Ann Spahn out there saying the house won't be open. A skunk had gotten under the house.
Oh,
So I
no.
said, well, I'm sorry for the visitor. That's the kind of visitors we don't want. But anyway, Russell Farm, if you haven't been out there, it is a jewel that we are so blessed as a community to have that. So I won't spend any more time talking about it now, but it's a free park. It's beautiful. Lots of events out there, and Easter egg hunts for this last week, and I'm sure they weren't in the house, though.
Well, we actually do our business over breakfast out there at Russell Farms. And I know Jessica, because, she's my counterpart there at the chamber. She and I work together, and she's amazing. And so she came up with this idea. She's always coming up with something. She's always thinking outside the box. I'm just trying to get my box together, and she's thinking outside of the box. And she said, hey, do you care if I come up with like a coloring contest or something? And I said, no, not at all. Go for it, And because one thing I like to do and I want to do is following good leadership and let people that have ideas really use those and let them flourish in what they are good at and what they enjoy, So
Absolutely.
So she said, well, okay, I'm going to do a coloring contest. I said, okay. So she's got a coloring contest. You can actually find the page on our Facebook page. And then there's going to be a prize for one person in 0 to 5, ages 0 to 5, 6 to 10, and 11 to 17. So super excited about that. And also be on the lookout for clues for a golden egg. And inside that golden egg are 2 tickets to our Wild West Gala that are donated by Justice Insurance Specialists. So,
awesome.
yes. Yeah, so we're super excited about that. So if you have not bought your tickets to the gala yet, then just hang tight because Jessica's going to start putting out some clues. And if you find the golden egg, grab it, open it up, and look in there. And there's your 2 tickets to the gala. But really quickly, since this is a chamber show, what?
Really?
let me bring in the chamber real quick here. So tell me a little bit about like how the chamber. What do you like about the chamber? What do you think we could do better? How we've evolved from when y'all first got here? Just what talk. Let's talk chamber. Whatever you want to talk about. Talk chamber.
Well, when I first came and started working at Farmers and Merchant State Bank, there was no chamber.
Oh.
And I will say this: there was one police officer, and his name was Mally Bransom, and he walked the streets. The only thing he had was a billy club. He may have had a gun, but we didn't know it. And he had a pencil, one of those little golf-type pencils, and a little black book, and it was right here. But don't cross, Mally. I can still see him walking up and down by where Fresco's is and all in Old Town. But so the people that I worked for at F&M State Bank, the chairman of the board, actually he was the president. He helped to form that. Several gentlemen, and they formed the chamber and met down in Old Town for years, and then bought the building. And as time went on, and I've been chamber chair twice, 2 different years, not consecutively. I went back again, and then I've probably served 18 years at different terms, 3 years at a time on the chamber board. And I love the chamber, and it has evolved, and you are doing such a great job. I am so amazed at all the things you come up with and the growth. What did you say, 32 new members?
38.
38
now,
new members.
From January, February, and March, we've had 38
Since
new
the
members.
first of the year.
That's great.
She's doing an awesome job. And I will say this. The first time I took over as chair, people on the previous board were considering closing because it was really financially in poor shape. And I said, not on my watch. So we had a balanced budget for the first time, and chamber's still thriving. And I'm sure some of that's what Alex was talking about at the last chamber of last year, last chamber luncheon. Remember when he said, if it weren't for Patsy, we might not have a chamber. I don't know how he knows that, but I have to feel like that's some historical things that have been passed down. But really, it was almost closed. I'm sure it would have been reopened and thrived. But it's here and thriving, and you are doing great. I'm so proud for you.
Well, I have been. I don't know if y'all saw my post. So April 2nd was my 5-year anniversary with the chamber.
Okay.
So that was yesterday.
So amazing.
Today's the 3rd.
No,
hard to
tomorrow.
believe. It's been
Today's the 4th, isn't it?
No, it's a third.
the third.
Third.
So it was yesterday. So
yesterday.
April,
Did you say the 3rd?
April 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you said your 5-year. But it's 5 years.
My 5-year work anniversary yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, when I had her to visit our Rotary program and present a program, she was awesome. But she worked for the railroaders, and her boss came. And she probably, I say this and I shouldn't, but I wasn't very happy with him because I didn't think he was very respectful. So I was so glad when we got her in the chamber instead of in the railroaders. Well, and that, things like that, someone like myself that's so strong-willed, I never forgot that. And I think that's one of the reasons I just loved her so much, because I felt like that, let me put my arms around you.
Yes. Well, as an educator, I never was involved with the chamber until I retired. And then when I got on the school board and going to the functions and getting to meet people that are business, leaders in our community, I have really enjoyed that. And I've seen so much more breadth of course, we've got a lot more people, but the reason we have more people is because the ones that were here have good roots and they've built out. And we encourage you. You're a very open person, and so it's real easy to just come on and visit with you and see what you're doing and want to be a part of it. So I know the business community feels and sees that too. So I thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you.
Well, she got me involved. I mean, I signed up right on the air about September. So and it's been great because I use the services. So you see who's a member and whatnot. And
yes.
of course, I missed the breakfast because I have a class I teach at the same time, but it won't be forever. School will be over. I teach at DBU on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Do you see Chris Havens?
Yeah, I do actually. I see him every time I go get a parking sticker, but I see him walking around the campus. I see him.
Please tell him that I have missed him so much.
Yes.
I would love
I see
to hear
Chris
from him.
about 3 times a semester, maybe. Just kind of bump
I
into
miss
him.
him.
Yes. He's a good man.
Oh,
Yes,
I
he
love
is.
that.
Very good
I've
for
kinda
them and
lost
sad
touch.
for us when he left.
Oh yeah, but he just went into a wonderful situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So happy
PBU
for
is not exactly, it's not a very violent place. Most of the problems they have, I talked to them, is mostly about noise after a certain curfew and that kind of business. Kids are still kids, even if they're at a little Baptist school, and they still get goofy.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of the issues at all, and he's enjoying it.
When he first went there, he told me the thing he had to do most was help a student find their phone.
Well, that and also parking, all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
sure.
But we're not talking about, some of the things he had to face as a Burleson police officer. So,
Right.
but
But he would know how to handle it if it occurs.
it's interesting. Talking about women's business and all this. Tomorrow, I meet a new friend who is putting on a business for women seminar. Her name is Tracy Hubble Poe. I have not met her. This is it. And a friend of a friend contacted me, said, you ought to get together because she's having a women's conference for women in business. And certainly you ladies, could support that. I mean, that's y'all are leaders of this community. And, and most of the nonprofits I deal with have women as leaders. I mean, these men need to pick up the slack, don't you think?
Right. Yeah.
Get on the
Well,
stick.
we're having our women's conference, our Full Circle Women's Conference in September, and we have Jane McGarry speaking, and then I see her face. But I cannot think of it. We've got another amazing speaker as well.
Okay.
I'll have to get that, but I'll send that information to you so you can put it up there. But right now we're having a special, so there's only a few tickets left, and you can get them for $50. As soon as those tickets are sold for $50, then it goes
Better
to
have one.
$99.
Yeah. Save me one. I know we've talked about it at small group at church. I need to say one more thing, if you don't mind.
No, take your time, please.
I am supposed to mention, and I think I have, but I want to be sure. You always mention the Rotary Club, and that I am a member, and the first woman member and first president of the Burleson Rotary Club.
Well, all right.
And speaking of women being involved, our club's a lot better with us there.
Well, absolutely. Our community's a lot better.
That's right.
I mean, but really, it's interesting to see how many women, operate at y'all's level. I mean, lead organizations, lead businesses. I have, besides Gayla, I have Tiffany, I have Melissa. And our networking group, the president had on last week. She's a woman. She's so we have men. You're letting the women do all the heavy lifting here. But it's really amazing, and I'm really blessed to live in this community because of people like y'all that put a lot of time into this community and in the school district and into our children and to businesses. And Gabrina here is getting this chamber up and running. It's like a model for others to look at.
That's true.
There's so many programs in Burleson that have started here, like the Burleson Opportunity Fund. That may not be nationwide, but it's out there. And then another thing is this police presence on our school campuses.
Oh, man, I
Yes.
love that.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but Roger Williams was here to meet with with Dr. J and others involved, and it's so amazing.
And when I first got here, particularly at the high school, I went to the high school in the fall of '90. We had people, you remember Ann Brock, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Worked with
She
her
had
well.
that, the honors program, the tag program,
Yes,
that
yes.
people from all over the country would come to Marlin.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Same thing with special ed with Angela Sifford.
Yes.
People came to Burleson, and I
Yes.
thought, this is, I didn't grow up here, so it's like, this is just a small country town,
Yes.
and they're on the cutting edge of these things.
Ann Brock and Martha McKee were the ones that I was teaching first grade at Nola Dunn. And I knew that I had some really bright kids in my class, and I knew how to work with the kids that were average and needed extra help. But I did not know how to challenge those kids. And so I called on them, and as a result of that, I ended up going with them to Texas Woman's and getting my endorsement to work with Gifted and Talented. And I worked with the 5th and 6th graders for several years, and then I got to start the K-1-2 program and traveled. At that time, we only had 6 campuses, and I was on each one of them, moving around. I had a big bag that I took with me, and little funny thing happened. Bob Sperlin was the director for the GT program, and so he told me, he said, we need to get you some help. So I want you to come to the board meeting and bring your bag with you that you towed everywhere, you know. So I did, and we got help. And anyway, now we've got it on all the campuses, and named a campus after Ann Brock.
Right.
You know, she was quite an awesome. Because of her, I got to do a lot of things that I would have never had the opportunity to do, and a lot of workshops and things that we did about the gifted program.
I got my certification in tag from Texas Women's.
Okay.
Back in '91, I was one of 2 men in a class of 45.
Oh yeah.
So, but I thought it was fine. You know, no big deal. I was used to being in an environment where most of the people there were women.
Well, Ann was something, because when we were working together, when Martha went to Fort Worth to be their director of special, you know, the gifted and talented, I stepped in, and not going to say I took her place. I took her position, but nobody took Martha McKee's place. But that was just such an opportunity for me to get to do that, and I forgot what I was going to say about her. It was awesome, and then I just had a senior moment. But anyway, it was good stuff. Oh, I know what it was. She kept telling me, "You need to get your mid-management. You need to get." And I said, "Ann, I don't want to be an administrator. Well, what was funny about it is she had hers, and she never used it, but she taught me into getting it. and then I became an assistant principal, and then a principal, and then retired as a principal, and enjoyed it very much.
Which school was it again? I forget. That you were principal of.
Well, I was at Fraser.
Okay.
And then I retired from Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah. But the reason I retired, I was still having a good time. Bill Stribling told me one time, you know when it's time to retire, when there are more days you don't want to go to work than you do. You know? Well, fortunately, I never got there. But I had 33 years in education, and then I met my Bob. And I got married, and I thought, you know what? I think it's time to do something else. So for a few years, I was still involved in the Character Council, but I wasn't with the district. And then I ran for the board, and the rest is history.
Rest is history, and it is a history, definitely. I'm running close on time, but I always let the guests have the last word. I'd like y'all to say whatever's on your heart and mind. Just as long as you want. The floor is y'all's.
Well, I think it's great that you've had us here today.
Oh, it's my
Gabrina
honor.
was the cause of that.
Absolutely.
I know, and we appreciate. I know it's the same way to promote our community and our chamber and all the other things that we've talked about.
Well,
And
I
you've
very
been
much
very
appreciate
gracious.
it. Oh,
Yes, thank you.
I just sit here and listen and think, man, this is the history of Burleson right in front of me. I mean, you
There's a
know.
million things we could say.
Well, we could do this again, certainly. I got the summertime, maybe. I'll have plenty of
Now we
open
know how to
dates.
get here.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, Brett, I would say that I would just encourage people to get involved. You know, it doesn't mean you have to have a leadership role. You might end up there, but just being willing to give back. There's so many opportunities for giving back in our city, and there's strength in numbers. We grow personally and as a group and as a community when we work together. And if ever was the time we needed to be working together, this is it.
Now.
Exactly.
You know, you hear, people pull their hair out a little bit on social media about Burleson sometimes. This is a fantastic community to live
Absolutely.
in. And it's because of ladies like y'all and like Gabrina, and it's because it really is. I've been really honored to see just how many people put their heart into this community, and it just, I know that sometimes it gets a little bit, elbows are thrown during election season, but this is a community that really take care for each other.
Get over that.
They get over it. Yeah, I mean, they really do. And most people really do pitch into this community, and I'm very fortunate to raise my children here. They both were born and raised in this community, both BHS graduates. So, Gabrina, you need to send us some material about that Wild West logo.
Yes, I will.
You take us home here.
I just want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you, ladies, for coming here. And this has been really fun and enjoyable. And I've learned a lot. I'm originally from West Texas. And so, Burleson is home now, And so Cash will be graduating from high school here, and he loves it. And
I'm his best friend.
Yes, that's what he wrote on Patsy's retirement page. He said, "Patsy, you are the best friend I've always wanted to have. I love you, Cash."
awesome. That
That
is
put
so
a tear in the eye,
I
didn't
know.
it?
And he was so mad at me because he didn't get to dance with us that night because I made him leave.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're both still mad.
I know. I had Patsy mad at me from one side.
I had told him that we would have a dance, but we will.
Y'all will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we got a couple of good shows coming up. I have Larry Scott coming on Thursday, and he's going to talk about voting and how important that is.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, yes.
then y'all know Miss Camille Bransom, I'm sure.
Yes.
And she's going to be on Monday to talk about. She's restarting her podcast as well. And then Tiffany I mentioned, and I'm trying to remember next Thursday, but my brain hurts, so it doesn't matter. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate what you do, and I appreciate y'all being here. And we'll do this again. We need to bring these ladies back.
Absolutely, we will.
Because
Yes.
I'm just listening to the history of Burleson right in front of me, and I hope the listeners get that as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
There's
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Alrighty.
you for having us.
All right, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.